Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
I love weird, wacky signs. I'm chuckling already. I found this one, a sign at a ski lift in Colorado, and it only has 4 words on the sign, but boy, are they poignant. Listen to this. Caution! Trees don't move. I love it. Good morning. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America, followed by a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance on a Wednesday, the first full day of summer. Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning to you and all your family. And I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And, of course, some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call them at 734-6969. And right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very well done, my dear friend. Thank you. Call back later. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. All right, sir. Hey, it's time for the weather. And hello, Roger over at K&R Rental and the whole crew. They get there early in the morning. I mean, 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 2 on Saturdays. And they've got all your equipment. I mean, are you looking for a forklift? Well, they've got it. Looking for a lawnmower? I mean, they've got everything. And power tools, you name it. They will deliver and pick up power tools and heavy equipment at your site when you're finished. I'm telling you, all the garden tools, everything, K&R Rental. 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn. And right now, here's the weather.
Today is going to be much cooler than what it was yesterday. Yesterday we got pretty warm, but today and for the rest of the week going to be in a cooling trend. Looks like sunny skies for today, high of 87, a little bit on the breezy side, not too shabby. Tonight looks like mostly clear skies, low of 54. Tomorrow, sunny skies, high of 80, clear and 50 for Thursday night and Friday and Saturday. Looks like sunny skies, highs are going to be in the low 80s. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Very well done. I like that forecast. And you'll love going to K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Yup, they've got everything. They've been in business since 1979, and they've got all the experience you need to get the right tools and equipment for your projects. K&R Rental in Heyburn, 678-3122. Oh, my goodness sakes. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And we've got an excellent lineup of people this morning, and I hope everybody's there when Wheels does the calling. We've got Dave Bego at 9:06. We've got Tom Gilson. Very interesting. First time Tom's been on our program at 9:30. Then at 10:06, we got Dr. David Cole. And then we're hoping, and we're really hoping that she can do this interview at 10:30. We've got Melissa Francis from Fox News. And she used to be one of the child stars on Little House on the Prairie. And she's written a book called Lessons from the Prairie. And we're going to have her on at 10:30 this morning. Hey, by the way, don't forget our dear friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 678-0459. They throw open the doors and say morning to you at 7:30 in the morning till 5 Monday through Fridays. They've got all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs. And by the way, yesterday, I bet you had your air conditioner on. Hope it worked good. If not, get some clean air filters. They've got them at Ramsey Heating and Electric. And don't forget, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. By the way, it's this week. Yep, this week, tomorrow. Lunch bunch at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley, America's Diner. I don't know what Deanne's going to order on the menu tomorrow, but I tell you what, a lot of people get ecstatic about that new line of burgers they've got. I tried that Gouda burger the last time I was there. It is Gouda, really Gouda, and you're going to love them. And, of course, if you're into breakfast like I am, my favorite meal of the day. Great people, super menu choices at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. And we'd like to also thank our gift certificate donors, and they include Walmart, Smith's Food King, along with Hanson Mortuary and Stokes Food, nice people, Doug Martin, Redneck Cup Holders. Oh, my goodness, it's going to be great tomorrow at 11:30. Be there. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. First off this morning, there's no other way you can report this. The Democratic Party, the Democrats, their ideology, their candidates, they lost again last night in Georgia and South Carolina. After all the outside money, you talk about political influence from outside of a respective area or state. Wow. Hollywood and other multi-millionaires in California and along the East Coast, they donated a ton of money, millions and millions of dollars, to go into these elections to try to buy the votes for the Democrats, and they lost. Boy, did they lose. And this morning, this is what is just, Deanna and I were watching the news early this morning. They are trying their best to put excuses out in front of the public as to why they lost. Rachel Maddow, a talk show host that hates conservatives, she hates the Republican Party. She hates Donald Trump. And she, on her talk show this morning, she said, well, the reason that they lost is because it was raining. You can't make this stuff up. Now, that's not to say that the Republicans won because it was raining. No, they lost because it was raining. Yeah, they had inclement weather at the polling areas in Georgia, so that's why the Democrats lost. Honestly, come on. Doesn't it put a smile on your face? They must have written a book of like 1,000,001 reasons why we are inept and the public does not like us. And one of the reasons, it was raining. I love that. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'll pay some bills, and then you better give me a call. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Hello, Nick Greenwell. Hello, staff of the best physical therapists anywhere, anytime. And with all the exercises, all the ability to help you with the sports medicine, and of course, don't forget to the only hydrotherapy pool in the area. My goodness, they can help you get back to being you and feeling like yourself. All you have to do is call and make an appointment. 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, like I said, absolutely the best. Caller, I'll be right there, I promise. I just got to get a good word in here for the great big fun times that are going to be held over at Rupert on the 4th of July. You know, that's going to be a great event all the way from June 28th to July 4th, and it's going to start on the 28th with the 7 p.m. after-hours melodrama at the Wilson Theater, and then you got breakfast in the park, and you got entertainment, you got horse racing, and they got their first annual mutton busting competition. All of this is going to take place on July 1st, Saturday night at the fairgrounds. I'm telling you, they got lots of fun planned for you. Rupert's 4th of July celebration, June 28th through July 4th. Don't you miss it. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Mr. Bell, and how are you this morning?
Peachy.
Well, that's wonderful.
That's what my neighbor always says.
These liberals, they can't face the fact that they're losing all their seats because they're inept at doing their job.
You know, Donna, I'm not going to disagree with your verbiage, but I don't think it's so much of an ineptness of doing their job. It's the ideology, the not caring about the issues and only going after Trump and his administration like attack dogs. You know, that's not going to beat anybody. You can be negative all you want, but eventually it's going to catch up with you. And tell me what kind of a good ideology or a good budget thought have they got, or national security. They don't have any plans.
They don't have anything. The corruption, the out of touch with reality is becoming more and more evident. And you know, if the Republicans and some of the independents don't pull their heads out of where the sun don't shine, they're going to be in big trouble too. Because you know, we've got to start letting Trump do his job.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
There's no other way to say it. They need to get off his back, quit these stupid investigations, investigate the real criminals, and let him do his job.
You know, I'm going to ask you a very simplified question. I know that you and George follow the news, but please, for my education and the education of my audience, please tell me evidence of collusion or whatever. Maybe you know something that everybody else doesn't know, so share it with me now.
There's just their way of taking away what's really important. You know, all the issues that we face today, they've got to come up with something to get people's minds off of it. But you know what? People aren't listening. They're starting to realize, I hope anyway, that this is the only way to make America great again, is to let Trump do his job. He may not be able to get everything done, but by dang, if they let him do it, he'd get most of it done.
Well, you know, in the next election, if the Democrats lose again, please jump to the forefront and save them the time. And if it's raining, tell everybody that's why they lost the election.
Yeah, it was raining somewhere. I don't know where, but it was raining somewhere. But that don't have nothing to do with the dadgum election.
Oh.
Getting tired of the same old stuff.
I agree with you. Well, listen, I know we shouldn't talk so loud because George is still sleeping, so we better not wake him up.
No, he's actually awake. We've both been outside doing a little bit while it's still cool enough, and I don't melt in the sunshine.
It's going to be a beautiful day today and through the weekend. Enjoy. God bless, my dear friends. Take care.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Thank you. Nice folks over there. I'm proud to call them my friends. They've done so much for the community. It's just really a treat to have them on the air. Hey, let's see what else have I got. Oh, don't forget, too, that tomorrow morning, at 9:06, no, I'm lying to you. That's the Chamber of Commerce report. 9:15 tomorrow, we have It's Time to Grow with Tony McCammon from the University of Idaho Horticultural Department. And boy, is this guy sharp. He was gone last week, and we had a stand-in, Mark Dolachek, and it was really a good program. Very, very interesting man. And that's on tomorrow morning at 9:15. It's time to grow. Don't you miss it. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to talk about a cross in Pensacola, Florida. This story has me so upset this morning, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But, Wheels, would you please tell everybody about a hoorah good time in Elko, Nevada at the Silver State Stampede?
Grab your hat, kick up your heels as the Silver State Stampede thunders into Elko for 3 big nights, July 13th through the 15th, for family entertainment at its best. This PRCA-sanctioned event brings you the thrill of pro riders going head-to-head, then local cowboys trying their luck in the world-famous Ring of Fear, set to thrill audiences all 3 nights. Enjoy the kickoff party on Thursday with Old West bronc riding, mutton busting, trade show, mechanical bull, fantastic food and treats, live music with the Jeff Palmer Band, and so much more. Tickets are on sale now at Roy's, the J.M. Capriola Company, the Boot Barn, IFA, and the Elko Chamber Office. Make your plans now to be at the Elko County Fairgrounds for the thrills and spills for the 2017 Silver State Stampede. For more information, call 775-934-2392. The 2017 Silver State Stampede. Don't miss it.
Tell you what, it's going to be a ripping good time in Elko, and man, that was one of my favorite events. I did that rodeo for, oh my goodness, at least what, Deanne, 20 years? A lot of fun, great people. Got a story here that I think this is going to really consume the rest of the hour with my animosity and my speaking out on this subject. A U.S. District Judge by the name of Roger Vinson has made a decree, and he has ordered that a cross in Pensacola, Florida, be taken down in 30 days. It has to be gone. I believe the cross is about 30-some-odd feet high, and it's in a Florida park. But here's the key to this whole story. It has been there for over 75 years. Now, let's get to the nitty-gritty on this story. Four people complained, and now the cross has to come down. It has been there for generations. It has been there for almost, like I said, 75 years, working on 100. And the American Humanist Group, along with the group called the Freedom From Religion Foundation, helped fund and support these 4 people that complained about this cross, and now the cross has got to come down. The judge, U.S. District Judge Roger Vinson, has decreed the law is the law. My question to you is this, folks. For those of you that get up and go to church on Sunday morning, regardless of the denomination, it doesn't make any difference. What about you? What about me? What about all the people in this country that look at this United States and its founding fathers and the founding principles of being a Christian nation? We are being taken down. We're being swept away. We're being hidden in a closet someplace and pushed into obscurity because we're Christians. I, for one, this is a story that my angst really comes out, because if I live down there, it doesn't make any difference where you live. You should be standing up for that cross and your beliefs. I think I would stand underneath that cross and say, you got to move me first. I think it's about time to fight back. We have turned the other cheek until our head's on a kind of a spindle, like one of those wobbly dolls in the back window of a car. It's time to fight back. 4 people out of literally millions that live in that area, literally millions of people really enjoyed having that cross where it was for 75 years. And now 4 people, funded by some anti-Christian groups, Freedom from Religion Foundation, and the American Humanists. Yep, got to come down. We got a judge on our side. Hooray, hooray, we won. Put the Christians in their place, way in the back of the row. Are you not going to speak out about this? Are you going to sit there and just say, oh, gee, ho-hum, golly, that's too bad? I'm going to probably make some enemies here again, which, I'm used to that. But I'm going to lay the blame on many. I didn't say all, but many of the ministerial associations, ministers, church leaders, etc., for not having the backbone and the spine to speak out. We criticize politicians. I criticize the Republican Party for not having the backbone to do what they have been hired to do, and that's lead this country out of the mess that's been created. Well, I point my finger at the same of many church leaders. Some are too cowardly. Some are way too cowardly to even put sermons together to talk about what's going on in America. They'll just kind of have a generic blah, 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 blah. Thank you, amen, put your money in the plate, see you next Sunday. That is not the way that religion should be in support of Christianity. Caller, good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning again. You remember several years ago, I believe it is in Kansas, that they had this beautiful cross right out there by the freeway. I think it was on probably BLM land or something like that. But the people, probably like you're talking about, wanted to come down. And I never did. I seen it myself, and it was a beautiful demonstration of a cross. But after I see it, it didn't involve me anymore, and I just kind of went on down the road. I just wonder what happened there.
I don't know.
Do you remember that?
I vaguely remember that story, but I will say this. It doesn't make any difference if it's in Kansas. Doesn't make any difference if it's in Pensacola, Florida. It doesn't make any difference if it's right here. People of religion have got to stand up and say, my beliefs, our Christian faith is absolutely deserving of respect, and not be shuttled off and put behind bars like a lot of the people in this society want today. I say we fight back. I'm absolutely adamant that this is a term and a story that's worth fighting for, and church leaders, I don't want anybody to mention a denomination. I don't care. We're all lumped together. If we don't stand up, pretty soon we'll fall.
Yeah, if they put up a cross in one of our parks here in Burley, and somebody started protesting it, or a group or something, I'd be on the forefront, and so would you.
Well, wait a minute, though, Keith.
People back there, why aren't they out there in masses protesting this thing? But they don't.
Well, and wait a minute.
Can determine the fate of all the people?
Yeah. What's going on there, I agree with you. They should be en masse out there, and they should be picketing, they should be demonstrating, they should be yelling and screaming about how they're being pushed off into obscurity. But I'll tell you what, I'll go back to what I said a minute ago. I blame, and if you're listening out there and you're one of these wussies that won't stand up at the pulpit and say what things are and how they should be, it's your fault. It's church leaders' fault for not getting involved and telling the congregation what's going on.
Okay. Could I just mention one thing about the comment you made earlier about Rachel Maddow?
Real quick.
It wasn't because it rained. It's because it rained on her parade.
Okay, I agree with that. Hey, thanks, Keith, for calling. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm really surprised the phone lines aren't all lit up on this, because, folks, it can happen here, it can happen anywhere. As a matter of fact, it has happened here with Christmas over in Rupert. And it probably is going to be brought up again. We've got to stand up. I am sick and tired of people saying, well, no, I don't want to offend anybody. Maybe I better take the manger scene down. Oh, no, I don't want to wish anybody a Merry Christmas. Oh, that might offend somebody. I don't care. Okay, hate me for that. I want to remind everybody, too, about our dear friend over at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, the lovely Dr. Christine Pickup, and, of course, the only locally owned and independent hearing healthcare practice in southern Idaho. And right now they want you to be aware that, hey, you better get over there and check out the Sounds of Summer Scavenger Hunt. Pick up a card right there at the office, with the grand prize being $500 off a pair of mid-level or premium hearing aids. Yes, sirree! She is quite an asset to the community because those hearing screenings can help you. They help me. Call today, 312-0957. 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids in Rupert. Thank you. Hey, by the way, too, on Mondays, we give away a dozen cookies from Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 East Street in Rupert. What a delicious bakery. What a great restaurant. You're going to love the food, and the people are really nice. And I'll tell you what, we look forward to Mondays. Answer the trivia question. You might be the lucky winner at Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 East Street in Rupert. Oh, come on. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. This kind of thing is going on all the time across this country. And a quote was made by Judge Vinson. He was very reluctant to rule against the cross. And in some of his rebuttal to the anti-Christian folks, he said the historical record indicates that the Founding Fathers did not intend for the Establishment Clause to ban crosses and religious symbols from public property. But alas, he said, we have a problem now in this country. We do. And a lot of it is apathy. A lot of it is people not wanting to get involved. A lot of it is people just saying, oh, well, maybe the problem will go away. Well, it's not. It's getting worse. The left, the very liberal left, wants to see a non-Christian society. They don't want any crosses anywhere. How far is this going to go? Are they going to go to Arlington Cemetery next and demand that all the crosses be taken down? Think about that one. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, Zeb, when we do not stand up for what we know is right, again, I'm repeating myself, we are going to be held responsible. And, whether or not we want to believe it, one day there will be a day of reckoning. And, whether or not you are a Christian or it's just karma, one day it will occur to you. And so the thing of it is this, as you see, as I was talking to you the other day about the disintegration of the states of Washington, Oregon, and California, and the homelessness and the beggars everywhere, and you say to yourself, this is just getting worse and worse, and this socialism isn't working out so well. And you see, but we still have an obligation to our fellow man because Christ instructed us to take care of those less than us. And but you see, helping them up is different than enabling them to be addicted to whatever it is they're addicted to. Their lives are in despair. So I don't know. We've got you look at America and you say to yourself, are we getting better? Are we getting worse? Where does this end?
Well, Randy, you have always spoken out, and I commend you for it, and you've shown what you believe in and what you are fighting against. But, little by little in this country, the family values, moral decency, look at the television. I refuse in my home to turn on primetime television on the three major networks, CBS, ABC, and NBC. Why? Because what they provide as quote-unquote entertainment is nothing more than something you'd flush down a toilet. It's pathetic. And if that's what the American public is being subjected to, it's really our own fault because we haven't demanded better.
I was explaining to somebody younger than me about McCarthy, the Senator McCarthy from Wisconsin, and back when he had the hearings about communism, and he was made into a, whatever you want to call him, everything you can imagine, he has been, the lies about what he was, what he intended, and what really was going on. The truth of the matter is that communism has become home to roost, and we are living with it, and, it's affecting, my son just had a baby over the weekend, and I have got quite a few grandchildren, and I wonder what will it be like in America for my granddaughter Coley and the rest of them, because good men sat around and did nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know, Zeb. Last night Stephen Colbert came on by accident. I'm going to tell you, man, if I could have knocked him out, I would. Then I would have been in jail, but it may have been worth it.
There is no class. There is no, professionalism with the liberal left on TV anymore. I mean, whether it's Colbert or any one of those knotheads on late-night television, it's filth, it's sleaze, it's run down the administration, run down the United States, and I, for one, have had enough of it, but I just can't seem to get enough people excited and mad enough to fight back. Randy, I got another call, but you're always welcome. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. You're up next. Don't forget Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center at 924 Christian Way in Rupert. The number to call, 436-3200. They make every effort to make Autumn Haven the best place. And they invite the public to come by their facility anytime for tours. They got a beautiful patio in the backyard for barbecues and all kinds of summer outside events. Hey, they're small compared to some, but with a bigger heart than most. Please call them and find out more. 436-3200. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, 924 Christian Way in Rupert. Caller, thank you. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Zeb. What's really sad is so many good people have become so disillusioned they listen to the media, the mainstream media primarily, and it's so anti-American that they just turn it off totally. But you and I are doing what we can to educate people. And I just want to mention that tomorrow night at 7:30 at the Taylor Building upstairs in room 277 will be about a 1-hour DVD about this deep state, hidden agenda government that's running behind the scenes that we hear about. Last time we had one of these meetings, I invited a whole bunch of people. I mean, a lot. And how many do you suppose of those friends showed up? There was only a handful. It's really sad. People do not want to get involved, and we're losing our country because of it. These are good Christian people, good patriotic Americans. But if you're not informed about what's going on behind the scenes, you're going to be duped.
Yeah, I agree.
Another comment I want to make real quick is that as Christians, we are to do much more than just our church work. There's so many people say, well, I do my church work and I'll let somebody else handle the political situation. Well, that's why the country's in such a mess.
That's right.
We've got to get beyond the four walls of our church, get out there, be active in the community, learn what's going on. Our founding fathers, 4th of July, I should say Independence Day, we've come to the point where we call it the 4th of July. It's Independence Day.
That's right.
And it was celebrated as a religious holiday because Jesus Christ is the author of liberty. And we need to remember that because this country was founded on Christian principles, and we have basically allowed the socialist, communist, do-gooders to take over the thought that we just, this is just the 4th of July, just a time to have a good... Forget about those founding fathers and those gave their lives, fortunes, and did not give up their sacred honor in order that we can enjoy the freedoms today.
I agree with you. I appreciate your comments.
Independence Day coming up, let's think about that.
Absolutely.
And the sacrifices our ancestors went through so we can enjoy the comforts of today. today, but we're losing it.
I agree.
Like Randy had said, because we are so complacent and just allow somebody else to think for us. We need to think for ourselves to get educated. Be there tomorrow night at Taylor Building, room 277, 7:30. You'll be rewarded and be educated about what's going on behind the scenes.
I agree with you, and thank you very much for your call this morning, Adrian. Thank you, and appreciate your comments. Thank you. You know, the problem is we want somebody else to do it. Well, there's a problem. Well, why don't you take care of it? Why don't you go there? I remember, and I've said this before on the air, and some people are going to say, there you go, bringing it up again. Well, that's all right. I remember about a year ago on this program, we were in a hot debate over certain political issues, and a guy called on the air and he said, well, why don't you go talk to them, and why don't you do this? And I blew my top, and I do not apologize for it. I got mad at that particular caller, and the reason I blew my top was, how dare he call me and say, why don't you go do this? Why don't you go do that and take care of it? Wait a minute. What about your involvement? Are you too doggone lazy to be an American that enjoys the freedoms in this country and all the lives and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been given for you, and you can't get off your dead butt out of a lazy boy and go do something yourself? That really offended me. Always it has to be somebody else. Well, why don't you go do this? Well, why don't you tell them about that? Why don't you do it? That is the whole problem right now. Now, go back to the churches. Many, many pastors are too lazy or cowardly. And if I'm stepping on toes out there, don't get on the dance floor, to say really what's going on. They expect somebody else to do it. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Barry Equipment and Rental, sales, service, and parts. I think we're going to have one on the air with us tomorrow. They've got 3 locations serving you. South Lincoln and Jerome, Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. All the equipment to get the job done. Yeah, that's right. I'll tell you what, you want to have a Bobcat excavator? Why, they've got them in all shapes and sizes, new and used. Equipment rentals, retail equipment sales. I'm telling you what, and they've even got a big old sandbox out behind that they'll teach you how to run it. Oh boy, I tell you, they can help serve you. Doosan loaders, everything. Barry Equipment and Rental, sales, service, and parts. Jerome, Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. You know, I would imagine there's probably some ministers and pastors and church leaders this morning that are just absolutely ready to throw darts at their radio because of what I said. But the fact is, it's true. I know it's true. Many church leaders are just not doing the job of letting their congregation know about the severe attacks and diminishment by the left on Christianity. That's a shame. It's a pitiful shame. Pitiful shame. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Oh, by the way, now that I've made a lot of people mad this morning, football coach Jim Harbaugh of Michigan University. He evidently became fairly good friends with Barack and Michelle Obama. And so what he's working on right now is to have Barack and Michelle be honorary captains at a Michigan football game this fall. My response to that is, I hope whoever Michigan plays in that game, be it Ohio State, be it my Wisconsin Badgers or whomever, they defeat Michigan by at least 70-0, if the honorary captains are Barack and Michelle. Time Time for the weather. Riverview Urgent Care at 382 North Overland and Burley. Twin Falls Urgent Care, 2392 Addison Avenue in Twin, and Jerome Urgent Care, 133 West Avenue A in Jerome. Minor emergencies, you get major care. The doctor will see you now, not in 4 or 5 days. And believe me, they're open 7 days a week, and they really do care. Whether you got a sprain, a strain, a cut, an abrasion, whatever, my goodness, they can help you, and they will, at the Urgent Cares. Caller, I'll take your call right after this weather. Here's Gina.
Today is going to be much cooler than what it was yesterday. Yesterday we got pretty warm, but today and for the rest of the week going to be in a cooling trend. Looks like sunny skies for today, high of 87, a little bit on the breezy side, not too shabby. Tonight looks like mostly clear skies, low of 54. Tomorrow, sunny skies, high of 80, clear and 50 for Thursday night, and Friday and Saturday. Looks like sunny skies, highs are going to be in the low 80s. That is your weather for Zebit the Rain.
I tell you what, that sounds pretty doggone good. Brought to you by the Urgent Cares. Riverview Urgent Care in Burley, Twin Falls Urgent Care, Twin Falls, and Jerome Urgent Care in Jerome. Love their slogan because it's the truth. Minor emergencies, major care. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Morning, Zeb. Me again.
Yes, sir.
And you know me, I'm well versed because our family came through the Bolshevik Revolution, which was basically the communist takeover of parts of Russia after the fall of the 300-year reign of the Romanovs. And what you say about the Ministerial Association, I don't know about the association itself, but in the couple of the local churches that I'm very familiar with is that the churches themselves have become, the congregations have become so politically correct that the preachers will be run out if they start talking.
I agree. I agree.
Their weekly sermons are based mostly on Scripture and the messages from the Bible, so that's why they're not found at the pulpit on what you're talking about this morning.
Yeah, but Gary, wait a minute. Let me interject something here. It's wrong. I mean, I'm telling you it's wrong, and I've talked to a lot of pastors across the United States. I've talked to a lot of people involved in religion as their way of paying the bills for their family, whether they're church leaders, whether they're pastors, whether they run, church colleges and universities, whatever. And they have said to me, we've got to get back to the basics. We have got to tell the American public and our congregate members what is going on and who the bad guys are and what they're trying to do to eliminate us from the American scene. And that's the negative with churches. Pastors are too afraid to stand up there and call a spade a spade. And I'm going to stand behind that.
No, you're absolutely correct, and that's what I just said. And I know personally that's what they're not doing, and that's what you just said, and that's what's going on. And until they do it, nothing is going to happen. But there's a lot of strong people in those congregations that are raising hell about different political stances, and until the preachers take over, I don't know what's going to happen. That's why they're in the state that some of these churches are in.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, that is nothing more than one word: cowardice. That is cowardice.
Absolutely.
And nobody, how can you...
That the preacher was the moral standard of the community,
yes,
and was the editor of the local newspaper, but not anymore.
You know, Gary, you and I are on the same page here, and I'm so much appreciate your remarks, because I know that there's pastors and churches and congregate members right now that are absolutely hating me for my comments. But political correctness has gone like a cancer into the church and into sermons and into the way the pastors relate to the congregations. And that is absolutely not Christianity.
No, it really isn't. It's whitewashed, and it's when I went. Our family left. One family left Russia to Ukraine early on, 1872, way before the Bolshevik Revolution began. But the rumblings were there, so they got out. one family stayed because he says, "Oh, what can happen?" They became complacent in their stance. But tell you what, their grandchildren really suffered, and they really suffered when Stalin took over. And so when we went back in 1995, we found a member, as you know, of the family that stayed in Russia. We found a family member who survived World War II. So in 95, we took her back, and we went to our village about 90 miles north of Odessa. And what I found, and what was so surprising, was the people. Now, there were none of our families living there of any German descent, but the people that were living in our village had no knowledge at all of our families of having ever been there, because the history was written out of their history book.
Wow.
And when we told them that it was our families that had built that house there, which was my great-great-grandfather's home, and that they had gone to that school, they were flabbergasted. And then when we went to a local, what they called a museum and archives, there was no history in there about it, because it was written out. And it reminded me very much of what's going on in our local schools, and how the histories are being written out of our history books, and what our young kids are learning today.
I agree.
And our history is being written out, and how some of these young kids around here have no idea what the Snake River is.
Gary,
you see the writing is on the wall, that if our history isn't there and our young kids aren't learning it, then it's really easy for a dictator like Stalin to come in and take over and tell you exactly what you're going to do and take your property away and then rule, and there you are.
Or like in Pensacola, Florida, take down a cross that has been there for 75 years. Gary, I got to get a commercial break in, but you're always welcome. God bless you, man. Thanks.
Amen.
All right, sir. I want to say a big thank you to some of the Rupert merchants that are asking people to come on over and enjoy the Rupert 4th of July celebration for this year, including Magic Valley Carpet at 613 D Street in Rupert. All your flooring needs, carpet, hardwood, vinyl, laminates, tile. Oh, my goodness. 36 years of experience. They know, and they'd love to help you. And they wish you a very, very safe and sane Independence Day weekend celebrating the 4th of July, along with Haskin Insurance Service at 629 Fremont Street in Rupert. Number to call, 436-4141. Mike, Dustin, Dawn, and Terry there to help you with over 50 years of combined service. They know insurance, and they want to help you. Please remember the name, Haskin Insurance Service, 629 Fremont Street in Rupert. I appreciate everybody's calls this morning. Like I said, I'm not. This sounds a little tacky, but it's the truth, and I've mentioned this before. I'm not on this program to make everybody feel warm and fuzzy. I'm on to tell you the truth and tell you how I think about certain things and to tell you what's going on in the world. And quite frankly, we've got some problems. And it's going to take people, you, me, and other people, to get involved and say, no. Enough is enough of the filth and the sleaze. We're going to change it the way it should be. But if we sit back and do nothing, we deserve the problems that are going to be thrust upon us. You got to stand up. You've got to stand up. Don't point your finger at somebody else and say, well, why don't you do that? Because from now on, I'm going to point my finger right back and say, well, why don't you get involved and help? Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. Doing the right thing matters. Boy, that's a true statement for all of us. And, of course, 7 locations to serve you with the best of tires for your pickups and SUVs, your cars, everything. They've got all the tread designs, all the different sizes. You go in there, and boy, oh boy, do they take care of you. They come running out at a high lope saying, may we help you? Yes, you can. I'm telling you, the best in brake service. Absolutely, with the best of trained technicians, front-end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries. It's all there. It's all there. But, boy, again, I go back to service. service. That 7-letter word they are so good at. They take care of you. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. The best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Got to take a little break. We're going to turn it back over to Wheels and let him play with the CBS boys for about 7 minutes and see what they come up with. Next hour, Dave Bego from Indiana. Tom Gilson's going to be on the phone. We got a great couple of hours left. Don't go away, Zeb at the Ranch. I'll see you in 7. Oh, my. Here we go. This is hour number 2 on a Wednesday, the first full day of summer. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers like Western Way Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Way Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Way Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Way Services.
Call them today and get on the route service, and they'll pick your garbage up weekly. It's gone. It's out of there. Wave goodbye. I mean, they're just like clockwork. They come on Thursdays to pick up our garbage. You can set your watch with them. Nice people. Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Call them and get on the route service today. 734-6969. Western Way Services. By the way, don't forget, every Monday we have Vicky's Country Garden on our program at 9:15, and gardening tips and how to take care of your yard and decorate your yard and everything. And right now they've still got a good selection of perennials. Fruit trees are 20% off, and they've got all the bark and the rock and the outside decor items. All you need to do is just get over there at Vicky's Country Garden, 185 South, 600 West of Paul, or give her a call at 438-5663. Really a nice lady. By the way, too, don't forget our friends over in Rupert. My goodness sakes, are they going to have a ripping good time again this year? For the Rupert celebration, and it's going to be June 28th all the way through the 4th of July. My goodness sakes, it's going to start, as I said, on the 28th, and they're going to have all kinds of things going on at the Wilson Theater, and then, of course, Christmas in July, breakfast on July 29th, horse races, lawnmower races, mutton busting, all kinds of great entertainment all the way through the 4th of July at the Rupert 4th of July celebration in Rupert. Don't you miss it. And real quick, before we get our guest on the phone, I apologize for a little bit of a delay here this morning. I want to remind you about our friends over at Ark Animal Hospital. Dr. Bill, Dr. Liz, the whole crew, they love animals. That's why they're in that business, believe me. They have warm hearts for cold noses. Dr. Bill, Dr. Liz, and the whole crew at Ark Animal Hospital have been voted Minnecastia's best veterinary hospital many times. And I'll tell you right now, it's season for ticks and fleas. If you see your old dog scratching and an itching, be careful. They can also give the ticks to you. So be prepared and get help at Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street in Heyburn. Number to call, 678-1177. Well, I don't know if this old boy has got a dog with ticks, but I'll guarantee he's got a heart as big as Texas, and that's my friend from Indiana, and that's Dave Bego. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Zeb. How you doing?
Well, before anything, I want to give you a great big shout-out. Thank you for your very, very nice gift of the plaques of the Chicago Cubs and also that game called Right On. That was very nice. I got home last night one week, and there it was laying on my porch, and I really appreciate that.
Well, I know you're a big Cubs fan, and I actually was at a golf outing where they were selling those in a silent auction, and I made a point of making sure I could get it so I could give it to you.
Well, that was...
because it helped the auction. It was for hemophilia, and it helped you too.
No, I did.
It worked out real good.
You know, I really am impressed with all that you've done in your life, with your business and your involvement in other activities and everything. A big thank you to you, Dave. And believe me, there will probably be another tasty little bottle of liquid coming to your office in the not-too-distant future.
Well, that's always appreciated. You don't have to do it, but it would be appreciated.
Okay.
So, hey, I want to talk about the Right On real quick, too. I think it's interesting, the guy that put it together and his family, he actually was a bartender at a club here in town. And I got to see him once a month when I'm a member of Legatus, and it's a Catholic CEO organization, and we go to Mass, and afterwards we go over to this club and have a little bit of a happy hour, a speaker and dinner and that. And I gave this guy a copy of my book when I first joined about a year and a half ago. And he loved my book, and he grew up in Portland, Oregon, and he says, Dave, I found out what liberals are really all about. And he says, I love it here in Indianapolis. I loved your book. And my family are conservative. And he says, we put this scheme together. He says, I appreciate it if you'd help me promote it. And it's called, as you said, Right On. And it's a card game. It's a conservative party game.
Right.
Because mocking the left feels so right. And so anytime you can help this young man, we would appreciate it, because a lot of it's based on him reading my book and how we, fought the SEIU and stood up for employees' rights.
Absolutely. Absolutely, I will. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to try to get in touch with that man this next week on my program and have him as an interview.
Oh, that would be great. That would be great. And Todd's a good guy, and he's trying to do the right thing. So anything you could do to help him would be appreciated.
All right, Dave. Hey, last night I was I had a smile on my face because they lost again. The Democrats not only lost in Georgia, they lost in South Carolina. Oh, they were playing up those House seat elections as, this will show that in 2018, we, the Democrats, are going to turn the Trump administration upside down. We're going to show the world. Well, they lost, and now they're kind of quiet this morning. Gee, I wonder what happened.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. In Georgia, especially, they spent a lot of money down there, and brought a lot of people in to try and get their candidate elected. And I think, quite honestly, Zeb, I think the Democratic Party needs to look in the mirror. I think they've divided themselves, and because of their divisive programs and agenda, and I think a lot of Americans are waking up that they're not heading in the direction America needs to go.
Yeah, but Dave, I don't know if you heard it or not, but early this morning, Rachel Maddow on MSNBC came out with the classic excuse. She looked right at the television camera and said, well, I honestly believe that because of the inclement weather and rainy conditions in Georgia, that's why the Democrats lost. Are you kidding me? They'll try anything.
They always make excuses. It's their way or the highway, and if they don't get the highway, they make excuses for what's going on, that it wasn't their fault or their problem. And you got to look at Rachel and say, well, Rachel, if that's true, why didn't the other side have the same problem?
Absolutely. I said that in the first hour. Dave, on a very serious note this morning, and this could happen to any family in the United States with a young man or woman that's touring abroad and wants to further their education. And quite frankly, I think it was a mistake to go to North Korea on one of these tours that was available. But Otto Warmbier, a quick synopsis, was a student on a tour, and the North Koreans claim that he did something that was not legal, and they put him in prison, and he came home as a comatose state and died 2 days ago. I think it's despicable what has happened. What are your thoughts about North Korea, Kim Jong-un, and Otto Warmbier?
Well, it's obviously that North Korea is the type of country that you don't want to see in this world, and Kim is he just is an egotistical dictator, and at some point this country is going to have to stand up and slap them in the face and say, we're not going to put up with this stuff anymore. Now the other side of it is that anybody in their right mind shouldn't be going to North Korea or places like that where something terrible could happen, like happened to him. And you got to step back and use some common sense when you make decisions on where you're traveling to.
I absolutely agree with that. But now, this morning, there was a spokesman on television at about 4:45 this morning. And when asked about the North Korean situation with the missile testing and also tying it into the Otto Warmbier situation, he looked at the camera and in no minced words whatsoever said, the next time they have a missile test, we, the United States, should blow it over out of the sky right over their country and tell them in no uncertain terms, enough is enough, you're the bad guy in town and we're going to slap you down.
Well, yeah, I think we have to do something to wake them up and make them understand that we're not going to put up with this stuff anymore, and we're not going to let them get into a position where they can harm our allies like Japan or South Korea or anybody like that, or even China. The days of that type of stuff are over, and we as a country, the United States, we have the firepower to stop it, and we're going to do that if that's what needs to be done.
Dave, the other side of that situation with the Democrats, with all these charges, all these allegations, completely unfounded, no evidence, still after going on 7 months, it's been a complete waste of time. You and I, your business, my business, our families, everybody has suffered because of a do-nothing Congress. Everybody's kind of waiting and seeing what more they're going to investigate, what more they're going to find out that isn't true. What a waste.
Well, it is, and Zeb, and it's funny you talk about that. I was in here. I was talking to a gentleman this morning, and some yesterday afternoon about the Republican Party and conservatives, and that they agree with me 100%. It's time that they get some backbone, they stand up, and they start moving forward and making the changes that we need to make, and passing some of the bills that need to get passed, with health care and regulation changes and other things, to move this country forward and stop worrying about the political stuff and all the other stuff the Democrats are doing, because that's why they're doing it, because they want the Republicans to back down.
I agree with you 1,000%. Let me talk a little bit about a situation that I don't know why it's being, kind of shuffled off to the closet and covered up, but the Obama administration. And there are now a lot of facts and reasons and stories about how they were spying on the Trump campaign, etc., illicitly and illegally, and those records have been shuttled off to Barack's personal library to be locked up for 5 years. Now, my contention is, and I know a little bit about the law here, the current president can, and he should, demand that those records be unlocked and looked at by perhaps Mueller and the investigatory committee to make sure about all the illegalities on the left and the liberals. What are your thoughts?
Well, absolutely. One thing you have to do, and I've talked about this over and over again because I fought the hard left, is you have to expose them. And if that means you've got to go and demand information and get it, that's what you have to do. And, we had to do that with the SEIU. And, the other side doesn't like it because they think when they do this stuff, you'll back down on them. But you have to go after them. You have to demand that information legally and get it, and then you can expose them for who they truly are. And the problem we got in Washington's, again, it's, it's too much politics instead of doing the right things for America and for the people in this country, and it's time they woke up.
What do you think, as a businessman and also one of the community leaders in your area, what do you think so far of this first 6 months of the Trump administration, even with all the potholes in the road that have been laid out there by the liberals and even some by the Republicans? The man has still been able to do quite a bit and shoulder the load. What are your thoughts about Donald Trump?
Well, I think he's moving along. He's doing some good things, and he's looking into things he talked about, and it's like he's now on the National Labor Relations Board. He's now filling open spots in that, which we need to get done so we can reverse a lot of the labor laws that are hurting companies and businesses in this country right now, and. I think he's moved along well. I still think, and I've heard this too the last couple of days from people. In fact, I have to tell you, Monday night I was at a celebration for Indiana authors, and they recognized what they felt were the top 10 authors in Indiana, and I was one of them. And in talking to the people there, and most of them were conservative, it was really interesting how they like the path that Trump is doing, the things that he's introducing and working on, but they would like to see him get off the tweets and off-the-cuff language and stuff like that and become more professional how he addresses it. And I think I've said that on your show many times. That's what you have to do to beat the left, because every time you tweet stuff and do stuff, you just give them bullets to shoot you with.
Okay, but how do you do this with a man that absolutely is, so self-taught and so egotistical, if you will, about the business world and how to conduct business and how to negotiate and that type of thing? How do you get somebody like Kellyanne Conway or anybody in that administrative leadership go up to him and say, Donald, for Pete's sakes, throw the doggone phone away?
Well, they have to be persistent, and they have to stay on him all the time, and they have to show him, here's what this tweet caused you, and we need to clean this up so we make it easier on our, your staff and your administration to move forward and get things done, and take the bullets away from the mainstream media who are controlled by the left.
I agree. I want to kind of really switch gears here for a moment and ask you, I don't know if you read the story or not, but the Supreme Court on Monday struck down a part of the law that bans what they and some people deem as offensive trademarks. As you know, over the last many years, the Washington Redskins were being aimed at by all these liberal groups. Well, now the Supreme Court has said, no, it's a part of free speech, and they can maintain and keep that Washington Redskin trademark. What are your thoughts about this?
Well, I think it's true. I mean, the left is moving us into that politically correct area, and they want to do that so that they can, control certain people and get certain people on their side and votes and all that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, it's about controlling the votes here in this country and controlling this country. And you have to expose you have to expose what this political correctness is. It isn't about helping these people, because they could care less about these people. They just do it so that they get them on their side.
I agree. And, after the Redskins, there was an aim at the Kansas City Chiefs, the Atlanta Braves, the Cleveland Indians with Chief Wahoo. But, there's one funny part of this story, and I've had it on my program many times. When the liberal left, were going after what they said were deriding and insensitive trademarks, they never went after the Florida State Seminoles football team, collegiate football team, because the Seminole Indian tribe said, leave them alone, we're making a lot of money off of this.
Yeah, it's amazing. The free markets do work.
You're not...
if people would just step back and understand that the free market can be very helpful to them and promoting things and making some money and moving up in life and that. But, you got the other side out there saying, oh, we're going to give you this, or we're going to do this, we're going to give you that, you're going to get free health care, free this, and all that. These people step back and say, oh, that sounds good. We just got to let those guys in office. And they don't realize at the end of the day, it's just like the union bosses. They're not going to get all this stuff. They may get a little bit or some, but at the end of the day, they're not going to have any chance to move forward, move upward, and make more money or become more successful down the road, because the left and the union bosses, that they want to control you and what you do.
When you talk about this, or I've only got a couple of minutes left, but are you concerned about the various unions being so quiet for the last little bit in time? I mean, SEIU, I don't care what the union is, we haven't really heard or read or seen stories about them and what they're trying to do and how they're trying to whip up maybe a smoke screen to get more people to join. What's going on here? They've been really quiet.
Well, I think they're doing a lot of things behind the scenes right now to increase membership and to divide the country. It's like the SEIU with the Fight for 15 and Black Lives Matters and stuff like that. I mean, SEIU's got one guy out there. He's a young black gentleman that he's out there, raising ruckuses and riots and that on the Fight for 15, and saying he's not getting paid very much money, but it was exposed he's getting paid almost $150,000 a year by the SEIU to do all this stuff. And all it is meant to divide the country and bring us down, and so the unions can unionize people and help the left control things.
Absolutely. Dave, I just want to say thank you again for your kindness. I always look forward to having you on the program every Wednesday, and I'm just trying to think, basketball, the Cavaliers are having trouble. I think they're going to fall apart. I think we're going to see LeBron James possibly take a contract with the Clippers. What are your thoughts?
I think, it was pretty ugly, the playoffs, and I think that we're going to see that kind of fall apart. But I have to tell you, Zeb, a lot of the pro teams are, even the Pacers. George is looking at leaving the Pacers. Yeah. And it just seems like the pro teams are having a hard time getting players together on the same page, and I think they're going to have to start taking a different route to getting their teams together. I think you have to have coaches that really know how to bring people together as a team. I
agree with you. The allegiance factor isn't anymore in professional sports like it used to be.
No, it's not.
Dave Bego.
And it's really sad. And, some of the coaches, it's like the Pacers coach here. Is he a good guy? Yeah, he seems to be like a good guy, but he's not a very good game coach, and you can tell that he really doesn't have control over the players. And you need some coaches that are, have strong personalities. They treat people right, but they know how to bring the players together and get them to do the job and get things done. It's like LeBron James. I played basketball. The guy doesn't play any defense. Yep. All he wants to do is score.
Yep.
And he lets his, whoever he's guarding run up and down the floor and score, and that's not good for the rest of the team or, his teammates.
I will say this, that there needs to be, in all aspects of sports, more coaches, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I'll throw a name at, maybe you won't agree with me, the Pat Riley type approach.
Yeah. And I think pro sports has to wake up. Now, whether they will or not, I don't know. But I think at points they're buying into this political correctness too much.
I agree. Dave Bego, God bless you, man. See you next Wednesday. Take care. Enjoy your golf game.
Well, thanks, and to send me a picture of where you hang those things.
I will. Well, believe me, next week they will be right behind me here on the window, and tune in, zebbell.com on the computer and look, and I guarantee you they'll be there.
Okay. Okay.
All right, buddy.
I'll be looking.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right,
Dave Vigo, Indianapolis, Indiana, on our program every week with his insight, and I really appreciate it. Hey, don't forget Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. Hello, Joel Heward. I know they're going to be really busy helping out at the community events that are going on over in Rupert this next couple of weeks. My goodness sakes, yes. Hanson Mortuary, with the family and the staff, always there to help you with all the arrangements when there's the passing of a loved one. And remember this, always with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity. All you need to do is just call, and they can and will help you. 436-5636. That number again, 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, serving you and your family. By the way, too, before we get our next guest on the program this morning, I want to acknowledge the fact that if you're just kind of sitting at home going, oh, gee, golly, there's nothing to do, that's your fault. Because I've been telling you for a long time about Let's Ride at 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Holy cow, they've got all the watercraft to enjoy on the rivers and the lakes. They've got all the four-wheelers to get up in the mountains. They got all the side-by-sides. Now, don't give me any excuses. We've got a beautiful part of Idaho here to live in and see and enjoy. All you need to do is get over to Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 4. This is where the fun is sold. Absolutely. And real quick, also over in Rupert, some more mighty fine folks that I absolutely am pretty high on. They do a wonderful job. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. All your life insurance, all your health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits. You need to be protected. You need to work with professionals that can help you and are dedicated and accessible to what you need to get done. Please call them for an appointment, 436-4424. That's the number to call, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Okay, let's go to the phone line right now. I'm really looking forward to this conversation with this gentleman. What's the matter, Wheels?
I'm not able to get a hold of him, but I'm still trying.
Yeah, don't quit. I mean, we'll have Deanne come in from the other room and try to get a hold of him also. Tom Gilson is our guest, and hopefully he has not forgotten to get on the program this morning. So, once again, keep trying, buddy. I appreciate it. All right. These things happen sometimes, and they're frustrating. Very frustrating. We can't seem to get a hold of Mr. Gilson, Deanne, and that was the one that was set up by Matt. If you would try to follow up on that real fast, I'd appreciate it. And Wheels is trying over at the main studio, so we'll see what happens. Calls are welcome and appreciated at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. This will give me just a little bit of an opportunity. I'll take some calls from the outside world, if you would. Don't forget, coming up this weekend at Albion. Oh, my goodness, the 36th annual rendezvous for the Oregon Trail muzzleloaders. I know these great folks. Rick and Mitzi and the whole crew, man, they're going to have a good time. Starting on Friday night with a potluck dinner, easy for me to say. Saturday, they're going to have council fires and all kinds of fun, frying pan toss, etc. And, of course, prizes. It's just going to be a lot of fun. Good, clean family fun at the Oregon Trail muzzleloaders 36th annual rendezvous up in Albion this weekend. And just look for the signs. You can't miss it. And, boy, these are good folks. Try to get up there. Wheels, are you dialing the right number? Let me check the number that you're dialing quickly. Wheels, okay. Answer me. So. I got it. Wheels, just listen. 757-291-9298. Okay, the man's waiting.
Okay, for some reason, when we did the rundown, we put 775.
All right, well, it's 757, and irregardless of what or whatever happened, call him right away.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll get this gentleman on our program quickly, and hopefully, whether it was a mistake on our part or whatever, it doesn't make any difference. We'll just get the man on the air. Okay, thanks, Deanne. I appreciate your help. Once again, Tom Gilson is waiting by his phone for the call, and sometimes when we give numbers, old Wheels over at the station and myself, sometimes we get together on our pre-program and we go down all the list of calls, and maybe I gave him the wrong number. It could have been my fault, so we'll get him on the air and corrected. While I'm waiting, I'll also tell everybody about Autumn Haven Assisted Living. Yes, these are really good folks that care about the people that live there. It's the only locally owned and operated assisted living facility in the Mini-Cassia area. And they make every effort to make Autumn Haven the best place. Don't forget, please call them 436-3200 and visit the facility. Take a tour and find out how beautiful it is and how they really care for their residents. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, 924 Christian Way in Rupert. Number to call, 436-3200. They're small compared to some, but with a bigger heart than most. Wheels, do we have the man on the air?
Yes, sir, we do.
Thanks, Wheels. I appreciate your help. Thank you much. And on the program with us right now this morning is Mr. Tom Gilson. Good morning, Tom. How are you?
I'm fine. Good morning.
We had a little difficulty getting a hold of you. I think I wrote down the number wrong. I'll take the blame for it and passed it on to my engineer, and so I'm the one that's the problem this morning. I apologize.
That's no problem. Glad to be here now.
You know, Tom, you wrote a very interesting piece with the title called Same-Sex Marriage is Not Today's Replay of Interracial Marriage. I'd like you to kind of give an overview of the piece, what it is, what it meant, etc., and then let's talk about it, if you don't mind. Go ahead.
That'd be great. Yeah. The piece was in the stream.org, where I am a senior editor, and it was in response to, well, June 12th was the 50th anniversary of a famous Supreme Court case that ruled that interracial marriages could no longer be prohibited. So interracial marriage became legal at that point. And a lot of people, and since we came up on this anniversary this month, a lot of people have been saying, well, it's similar between interracial marriage and same-sex marriage. That is, people who thought interracial marriage was wrong, are the same sort of people who are going to stand up and say that same-sex marriage is wrong, and it's nothing going on there but prejudice and, you know, old dark feelings about how it just isn't natural and all this kind of thing. And so they're saying that there's this analogy between interracial marriage and same-sex marriage, and if you think that interracial marriage is okay, in order to be consistent, you should agree that same-sex marriage is okay. And the point of my piece was to say that the analogy failed. It fails because same-sex marriage was never banned like interracial marriage was banned. There was a period in history, long period in history, when interracial marriage was considered perfectly okay and proper under common law. That was never true for same-sex marriage. In fact, the strangest thing about it, and I quote from another writer here named Frank Beckwith, he pointed out that the courts were the ones who had to change marriage in order, or the states were the ones who had to change marriage in order to make interracial marriage illegal. It was the government that had to change marriage in order to make same-sex marriage legal.
Yeah.
What happened here is that you've got government coercing marriage into something it never was in
That's
both
right.
cases. Same-sex marriage is a lot like interracial marriage bans because it's a government-created thing.
Yeah.
I'll pause and let you answer.
I'm really interested in the way you wrote this article, but I want to say up front that, number one, I believe, this is my belief, and I'm not going to waver on this for anybody, I believe that marriage is, through my biblical teachings and the way things should be, that it should be only between a man and a woman. And I think that the left trying to smear and kind of smudge the paint to go one way or the other, I think that's wrong. And I think marriage is defined as it should be defined, as man and woman, for a healthy state and a healthy union and a healthy family. That's my belief.
I'm with you on that. And this smear is coming from people who are trying to tar us with old prejudices, and to do it in ways that are not logical, but they have great emotional, rhetorical power to make us want to back off from that conviction that you just expressed.
Well, yeah, but Tom, you know as well as I do that the liberal left in this country today, they are looking at every brick that might have a crack in it to try to take a sledgehammer and knock it out of the cornerstone of our building, of our morals and our family values. And this is just one of them. Do you think I'm right or wrong?
No, I think you're right. It's going on in gender. It's going on in all kinds of, even violence is permitted from one side but not from the other. There's a whole lot of this going on, and the way we're going to stand strong is in community, in prayer, and in thinking these things through very, very clearly. We've got to be doing all of this.
Yeah, but Tom, are we beyond hope? I read your article. I highlighted a lot of the different points that you made, but are we beyond hope? To me, marriage now could be anything. It could be some old boy living on a mountain with an old goat. I mean, I don't mean to sound trite when I say this, but it can be what they want it to be, and that's not right, and we've got to fight back.
I don't know what kind of hope we're going to be talking about having. I don't think there's any hope that the situation is going to turn around noticeably in our society in the next several years. Our kids are going to grow up in a very screwed up society. Is there hope for Christ's light to shine through regardless? Yeah, man, there's real hope for that. Is there hope for it to get reversed and straightened out again in 40 to 60 years? I think so, because people will wake up when this generation kind of gets tired of it and the next one comes along a little wiser. But our real hope is in Christ shining through us, regardless of what goes on.
I totally agree with your statement, and it kind of dovetails into what I was talking about last hour on the program. And I don't mean to get off track here, but I think you'll see the correlation. I honestly pointed my finger last hour at a lot, not all, but a lot of the clergy for the various denominations in this country that are too much kumbaya from the pulpit, and they're not really being poignant and telling the congregation what the problems are in this nation and how they need to be solved. Would you agree or disagree?
Boy, would I agree with that. And I was talking with a minister last week about a case where some of this is ambiguous in that particular church. And this minister has the right convictions, but is slow to address it. And I said, look, Pastor, you have got to get ahead of this controversy or it's going to get ahead of you. Now, that's just in one local church. But that same kind of thing is happening even more where pastors are unclear on their convictions or are wrong in their convictions. It's happening on a large scale. We have got to stand up and speak the truth in love. Let our speech be with grace, seasoned with salt, as Paul says in a couple places in his letters. And we have got to tell the truth, because otherwise this thing is going to keep getting ahead of us, as it always already has been.
Well, Tom, my feeling is that two words have distorted, disrupted, and destroyed many of the church teachings, and those two words are political correctness. Agree?
Yeah, there's different ways to say it, too. Relevance is another one, where we're trying to accommodate political correctness by becoming relevant to it, when we should be, we should remember what's kept us strong for thousands of years, which is the truth in following the Lord. But political correctness is just today's way of saying certain things that are false. But yeah, sure, I'd agree with you. That's been very damaging.
When you wrote this piece for the Stream, what about, were there any retributions or repercussions coming back to you for writing it the way you did?
Well, there's all kinds of negative comments. I've got a book on homosexuality. It's called Critical Conversations, A Christian Parent's Guide to Discussing Homosexuality with Teens. And when I put it out, I was actually asking people what kind of protection I might need. And the answer was, don't worry, calm down. It's not that bad at this point. But the worst is that I get names called at me. I get a lot of that. But that's the worst of it.
Well, the thing is, though, Tom, I think you'll agree with me. Whether you're an author writing for the Stream or whether you're a radio talk show host, I think we have an obligation to serve the public with an honest opinion and an honest appraisal of what really is going on, right or wrong, in this country. And I think you're doing that, and I'm going to keep on doing it.
Oh, bless you. And the pastors have to keep on doing it, too. I think that that you and I stand in a position where we provide support, information, perspective, but it's not going to really reach the people that need to hear it unless it comes from the pulpit. Just to go back to what you said earlier, that's really crucial. And so, boy, if you're a church leader, teacher, pastor, whatever, and you're hearing this, take this to heart. Take it solidly to heart. Teach the truth.
Wouldn't you say, Tom, and I'm so glad to have you on the program this morning, but wouldn't you say that for any congregate member of any denomination that's listening to this program right now, they should take the opportunity to go visit with their pastor and ask why they're getting only milquetoast or bland sermons, why they're not talking about today's issues, why they're not talking about how our society is going down the toilet. I think the congregation has got to start asking questions and demanding that the pastors give them answers.
I think so, too. We've got to recognize the pastor's job is the hardest job in the world, and he's already got everybody in the congregation who knows his job better than he does. And so when you go into that conversation, you got to recognize there's a real person on the other side of it dealing with a lot of stuff. On the other hand, the pastor has a job, and the first job is to teach the truth and to lead well according to the truth. So yeah, I would agree with you. As long as the congregate goes into there in the sense of, I'm on your side, Pastor, let's help you do your job because I love you and because I know you love your people.
Absolutely. I agree with that concept. But, just yesterday, Tom, I heard a story down in Pensacola, Florida, where a U.S. District Court judge has ruled against the people in Pensacola, and they have 30 days to take down a cross that has been there and a focal point of the community for 75 years, and it was due to only 4 people, Tom, 4 people complaining, along with the American Humanist Association and the Freedom from Religion folks. They put the money behind them, and they're taking down the cross. We as Christians need to fight back.
We do, and I think that we have been ineffective in the courts. We've got all these interpretations of church-state separation that are working against us. So, and I don't have the answer to this, but this is the question. The question is, since that's not working, what other strategy can we try to get the message out and to still let people know that we love the Lord and we're not going to let his name be defamed? And the way we act, the way we present our symbols, the way we have our symbols around the community, whatever it is, since one thing's not working, let's pray, get our heads together and go, okay, what else will?
Absolutely. Tom, I hope you'll consent to come back in the future. Senior editor for The Stream, Tom Gilson, and my hat's off to you, sir. I appreciate what you wrote. I want to have you back in the future. Thank you so much.
I hope I can come back. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day. God bless. Thank you very much. Glad I had him on the program, and I'm going to look forward to having him back again in the future. Wheels, get on the microphone for a moment. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
You know what? I'm going to take the blame for that telephone number because I think I gave you the wrong area code. And so the next time you see me tomorrow at Lunch Bunch, you can come over and just slap me upside the head with a spoon or something.
Well, honestly, it's really no big deal. You know, like you talk about all the time. It seems like we have that quite a bit, especially with live radio, and so it's just good that we were able to get together.
You bet. Hey, buddy, I appreciate it, and you're doing a great job over there. And right now, oh, my goodness sakes, we got to get the weather forecast on here. I'm running late again, and then I'll take some more of your calls. Don't weaken, folks. Please call me at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company, CPAs that have been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cache area for well over 50 years. Holy smokes, I mean, the best of tax return preparation, tax planning, financial statement preparation, business consulting, retirement planning. The list goes on and on and on about the services they provide to you and your business. Please contact them today with offices in Burley and Rupert, Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Today is going to be much cooler than what it was yesterday. Yesterday we got pretty warm, but today and for the rest of the week going to be in a cooling trend. Looks like sunny skies for today, high of 87, a little bit on the breezy side, not too shabby. Tonight looks like mostly clear skies, low of 54. Tomorrow, sunny skies, high of 80, clear and 50 for Thursday night and Friday and Saturday. Looks like sunny skies, highs are going to be in the low 80s. That is your weather for Zebit Duran.
Oh, thank you, Gina. Brought to people by Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company, with offices at 1710 Overland in Burley and 625th Street in Rupert. CPAs serving the Mini-Cache area for well over 50 years. All right, now it's your turn. Your turn to give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. In another story that's somewhat related to what we were talking about a few moments ago, and this is insane. This is absolutely nuts. Up in Canada, they're introducing new laws against what they call our transgender discrimination. And you can't make this kind of stuff up. I'm going to simplify it in my own words in accordance with what I heard and read about this new law. They are trying to pass a pronoun bill that if you or I say something so absolutely clear of any guilt, we say, "Thank you, ma'am." And the ma'am is a guy that we didn't know. Or you say, "Yes, sir," or "Thank you, sir," and it's a girl that you and I didn't know. We could possibly be arrested if this goes through in Canada and you're up there. You could possibly be arrested or fined for using the wrong address to that person. This is insane. How is one going to know? And with these new transgender laws going into effect, and this isn't the only place, there's other parts of the world that are doing the same insanity, including right here in this country. I don't know if you knew it or not, but in Washington, D.C. right now, they're going to eliminate, according to the news reports that I was given by my sources back in D.C., they're going to try to eliminate male or female on the driver's licenses. And just put a X in the box. What? A driver's license is used for ID to get on airplanes, anything, anywhere. And now you can't tell who or what they are? This is the epitome of insanity. Your thoughts, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Some of the great sponsors and merchants over in Rupert that want everybody to come over to the great big Rupert 4th of July celebration include Dixon Oil, 602 South 2nd in Rupert. These people are really great folks. They've been in business since 1951, and they've got the very best and serve you. Absolutely. All the gas, oils, the fuel, heating, propane, etc., they're there, ready to help you. So stop by. Daryl and the crew at Dixon Oil wish you a very, very safe Independence Day weekend and a great 4th of July. Mad River Laser. I love these folks. Love that store. 502 East Street in Rupert, right on the square. They're going to be celebrating Christmas in July at Mad River Laser. The entire Christmas line will be out, and you're going to be celebrating Independence Day and the 4th of July and Christmas in July. Wow! Sale prices and great products, shirts, aprons, decorations, everything at Mad River Laser. You're going to love it. And they're also celebrating their grand reopening. Mad River Laser, 502 East Street in Rupert, along with Dixon Oil, wishing you a great 4th of July. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Deb. You know that you were talking about on the applications and everything, you know, the place where they ask your sex? I just mark yes.
I'm proud of who I am and what I am, and I put male down very proudly, and I think our whole society is becoming increasingly nuts with catering to a very small minority.
What about when you're addressing a little group there and you're a ball game or something like that, and you say, okay, guys, let's go. Now, that doesn't lean one way or another. It leans more towards the male, right?
You know, there has been a case already, Keith.
Include the girls.
Yeah, but there has been a case already where the use of the word guy or guys has been scrutinized. And I remember back in New York about 18 months ago, there was some possible lawsuit over referring to somebody as a guy or a group as, come on, guys, let's go. So you're spot on. It has happened already.
Yeah, and then fellas?
Yeah. I mean,
what does that mean?
The world is nuts, Keith. I'm going to keep on saying it like I am. If I want to say, come on, guys, let's go, I don't care if somebody's offended. That's their problem, not mine. I'm not going to change my values for them. I've got to run to the news, Keith, but I appreciate your call. God bless you, man. Thanks.
Be sure to mark the right box, okay?
Right, there you go.
Goodbye.
Hey, coming up next hour, we've got Dr. David Cole coming on our program, and he's going to talk about the rift, great big rift between the right and the left and the animosity and everything. Then at 10:30, now we haven't had a cancellation, Wheels. Everything's looking good, that we're going to have Melissa Francis from Fox News talking about her book called Lessons from the Prairie. She is a former child actress from that television series with Michael Landon. That's at 10:30 this morning. So, with that being said, we're going to turn it back over to my old itty-bitty buddy, and he's going to take us up to CBS News. I'll be back in 7 minutes. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. Hour number 3. The music died all of a sudden. I guess it's my cue to take it over. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call 734-6969. Hey, Wheels, how about a great word for what's going on in Elko, Nevada at the Silver State Stampede?
Nevada's oldest rodeo. The Silver State Stampede roars into Elko July 13th, 14th, and 15th for family entertainment at its best. This PRCA rodeo brings you the thrill of professional riders going head-to-head in one of the world's toughest sports, rodeo. The action kicks off Thursday with the annual kickoff party featuring mutton busting, Old West bronc riding, tri-tip dinner for just $10, and an extra dose of the world-famous Ring of Fear. Head into Friday and Saturday Saturday for PRCA rodeo action with the award-winning Wild Child Rodeo Clown, and dance the night away with the Jeff Palmer Band. So gather your friends and get your tickets today for the 2017 Silver State Stampede, July 13th through the 15th. And don't forget to wear your pink for Tough Enough to Wear Pink Night on Saturday. Family entertainment at its best with the 2017 Silver State Stampede at the Elko County Fairgrounds. You'll pay for the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
There you go. It's a lot of fun down there. Let me tell you, at Elko, Nevada, the Silver State Stampede. Right now, let's go to the phone line, and I had this gentleman on the program with me a couple of weeks ago, and he was really interesting. Dr. David Cole, author of the book, What the Church Can Learn from Harley Davidson. Good morning, David. How are you?
Doing good, Zeb. Great to be with you again.
You know, let's give kind of a recap a little bit, if we could, about who you are, what you do, and your book, What the Church Can Learn from Harley Davidson. I'll let you have the floor. Kind of give us a recap.
Okay, sure. Well, I'm a minister, and I serve as a network leader, associate network leader at the Northwest Ministry Network. We have about 350 churches that are across Washington State and northern Idaho. We've got about 1,400 ministers that we network with, and my primary role is in both local missions and global missions, and really helping churches to learn how to connect with culture, the culture of today, and to be outward focused in their approaches.
You know, now, David, I'm going to tell you that earlier this morning in about 2 or 3 different segments, we've had quite a bit of conversation about the world and how the world with its anti-Christian attitude seems to be winning as of late. And we as Christians, I don't think we're standing up and really holding our own. What are your thoughts?
Well, I agree with you, and that's part of my premise for writing the book on what the church can learn from Harley Davidson is this is an opportune time, Zeb, for the church to stand up. And first of all, I think it's a time for us to take a look at our own motives and our own heart. We need to make sure that we ourselves are not attacking individuals, that we're not coming across as haters. And unfortunately, sometimes that's what Christians are seen, or at least perceived by unchurched people, is that, well, they don't agree with us, so therefore they're haters. So I think the church really has a responsibility to lead the way in showing America right now how we treat one another, and especially those that don't agree with it.
I totally, I'll go along and accept all that you just said a moment ago. But, David, I made a comment earlier this morning, and I've said it before on my program, that I feel, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I have circumstances and knowledge of individuals that are church leaders and ministers that I think, quite frankly, are not doing the job. They've got kind of a milquetoast attitude of standing behind the pulpit, and they're not really leading the church, the families, and telling them what's going on in society and how we need to combat it before we lose all our family values. Do you think I'm wrong?
Well, I think you've got a point that we're not going to help things by ignoring what's going on in society right now. I think as ministers, we need to be well astute to current events, well astute to what is going on, what are some of the cultural pressures that are coming against the church. On the other hand, I don't think this is a time for ministers to really use a political side to get our point across. Right now, some of the things that we're seeing happening, the animosity, the hatred, this really isn't a Republican or Democrat issue. This is a humanity issue. It starts with us respecting humanity. Our Constitution says we're all created equal. The Bible says that humankind's made in the image of God, and I think that's a good point for all of us to start with, whether we are churched or unchurched. That should be some common ground for us.
But I will stay, and I'll stand firm on this, that a lot of the churches and a lot of the ministers and leaders of the church have become too politically correct, and that is the downfall of a lot of our values that we hold dear.
Yeah, I think we can, if we're not careful, people don't know what we stand for. And if we're too politically correct, that can happen. But really, I think it's more than politics. I think this is a deeper issue. This has to do with respect for humanity. When we start seeing it move into the theater and the arts, and we have a New York City Shakespeare in the Park that's presenting the murder of President Trump lookalike. I think we have a real problem, and I think it's time that Americans stand up, like Laura Loomer, who stood up that day and said, "This is enough. Let's quit portraying the fact that we're trying to normalize political violence in America."
Okay, I buy into everything you're saying, Dave, but how? I mean, we've let this thing kind of like it's tipped over carton of milk. It's pretty hard to put the milk back in the carton. We've let this thing fester and grow like a cancer over the last 3 or 4 decades to the point where we're at right now. Look at politics. Look at what happened after the tragedy with the shooting of Steve Scalise. Everybody came together for one night at a baseball game, and then the next day they were back biting each other again.
Oh, you're right. And it's unfortunate that we can't all take the posture that they took after that Scalise shooting at the baseball game, and they all went to second base. Both Republicans and Democrats got down on one knee. And I think it's really up to leadership to show the way here. I think leaders on both sides need to really ask themselves, how am I being portrayed? And what can I do to help change the culture right now, this violent hatred that seems to infect our culture? What can I do to help? And I think this is where the church can step up to the plate as individuals in our conversation. Also on social media, I think we ought to be asking ourselves, how are we being portrayed on social media? Are there any of my statements that appear to be angry or filled with hatred? And that's where it's got to start. It's going to take time. This is not a one-night fix.
No, it's not. And as you look at society today, even going into the kindergartens, the grade schools, elementary schools, the high schools, and the colleges, we've got so much animosity that's being taught to our kids that when they come home in the evening to visit with the parents, I mean, some of the parents have told me, boy, we hardly recognize our kids and their personality.
Right. I think... you've touched on something that is so important. I'm wondering what happened to the advice, the teaching, that we can discuss issues with people and agree to disagree. And it seems like somewhere along the line that's been forgot in our culture. And we ought to be able to attack issues together, but then go to lunch together following our conversation. That's not happening. People are basically, by society and the societal pressures, to put people into groupings. And it's easier if I can put you in a grouping, and if I can treat you as non-human, then I rationalize with myself that I am right and you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Harley makes a good point here, and they'll treat people when they come through the doors as individuals. They won't put them in grouping.
Right.
If you come in, you're a member of an outlaw biker gang, you're going to be treated with the same respect and dignity, even though they don't agree with all your actions. They're going to treat you as an individual, an American, And I think that's where we've got to start.
You know, David, let me ask you this question. I know that you are the assistant superintendent of the Northwest Ministry Network. Let me ask you this. Do you see or feel that there is a reduction in younger men or women wanting to get involved in church work, and in the male's case, the ministry? Are we seeing a reduction, or are the numbers status quo? What's going on?
Well, I think it probably depends on what part of the country you're in. Out here where we're at, we're still seeing a number of male leaders coming up through the different leadership pipelines, very much engaged in, wanting to make a difference, wanting to serve Christ and live for Him. On the other hand, we're seeing a great number of female leaders rising up and, really wanting to stand up for what's right and for the gospel. And so I think this is an encouraging day when we look at the millennials. I know millennials get a lot of bad treatment, from different generations, but what I'm seeing, there's some good things happening among the younger generation.
Earlier this morning I had some other guests on, and we were talking about the situation down in Pensacola, Florida, where a U.S. district judge by the name of Roger Vinson has made a dictate and a ruling that the cross that has been standing in Pensacola for over 75 years has to be torn down in 30 days, all because four people out of the millions that live there complained about it. What are your thoughts about that cross?
Well, I think if they're going to do that, then they're going to have to look at every icon that is seen out in the community, and they're going to have to do the same with that. So what about the mosques that have the little insignia on top of those buildings? I think they're going to need to utilize the same pressure for any icon that represents religion. This should not be an anti-Christian type of culture, and we need to push back on those things and let them know if you're going to make a ruling for religion, it needs to cover all religion.
The thing is, Tom, where are they going to stop on this anti-Christian, anti-cross story? Are they going to move into Arlington Cemetery with the literally thousands of crosses? Are they going to take down the Bible verses that are on the federal property of our Washington, D.C. buildings? I mean, where does it stop with one or two complaints turning into where they take over the majority?
Well, I think this is where every church person needs to be more vocal, and we need to make friends with those that are unchurched, and I think that's where it starts. Once again, this is not an overnight fix, but the challenge we have, statistics show that 75% of unchurched people do not even have a friend who is a Christian, and what they're hearing about is from the news, from sitcoms. They're learning about Christianity from all of the negative media, and it's time that we get out there and we make friendships with the unchurched and let them know that this is not a religion of hate. This is a religion of love. This is a religion of grace and mercy, and we serve Jesus, who is the epitome of someone who walked that way.
In your book, What the Church Can Learn from Harley Davidson, what are some of the themes that you touch on in the book, and I'm sure many of which we've talked about possibly here this morning?
Right. I talk about respect and how Harley's done a great job in, really treating people as individuals. They have great customer care for the most part, and they really desire to have you belong before you become a believer and a Harley rider. And I think that's a good point that we need to be emphasizing. I also talk about how every person is valued. There's also a chapter on fear. What's happening right now is terrorists are trying to spread their agenda of fear and hatred, and we need to be aware of that. And Harley has a slogan, "We don't do fear." And so I have a chapter in the book that really challenges people. Let's not be driven by our fears. Hey, we serve a big God who is in control. These kinds of things are not taking him by surprise. And let's lead the way in showing America that we don't have to be driven by all these fears and fears of different groups and what they're doing.
Let me ask you this, though, to play devil's advocate on the other side just for a moment. How do you tell somebody to, hey, come on, be a big boy, put your pants on, and don't be afraid? In this day and age where you don't know who the bad guys are or when they're going to hit you or try to hit you, it's tough to overcome some of their fears, isn't it?
It really is. It is. And phobias are interesting. Unless a person's had a phobia of one thing or another, you really don't understand what happens in the psyche of an individual. I think that's where we come along with, rather than saying, hey, just get over it, we give them some principles, we give them some ways that they can overcome those fears. And one of the best ways is for us to engage in dialogue without the emotion, to try to put the emotion on the back burner and be able to have dialogues with individuals even when they don't agree with us.
I've got to get a copy of the book. I've got to read it. What the Church Can Learn from Harley Davidson, written by Dr. David Cole, and he is the Associate Network Leader and Assistant Superintendent at Northwest Ministry Network. By the way, real quick, I know the last time we asked you, where can the book be purchased?
Sure. You can find it on Amazon.com and then also on my website, OutwardFocusNetwork.com. OutwardFocusNetwork.com.
David, I really appreciate...
Zeb, if you email me your address, I will send you an autographed copy.
Well, I will look forward to that, and I think I have your email on one of these cheat sheets. If not, I will call and get it after the program, and God bless you, sir. I've always appreciated having you on the program and look forward to the future for many more. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zeb. It was a joy to be with you.
All right, sir. Thank you. Dr. David Cole and his book, What the Church Can Learn from Harley Davidson. Very interesting, and I'm going to get a copy of that book. I promise you that. We've got a great big Rupert 4th of July celebration coming up, and there are businesses that want you to know that they really support what's going on over in Rupert, and they include the Rupert Animal Clinic at 200 South Highway 24 in Rupert. A full-service facility serving large and small animals, featuring surgical cutting laser, causing less pain, swelling, and quicker healing. And believe me, they really want to encourage you, the owner, for the proper care of animals with vaccinations, dental work, preventative care, all this and more. And they urge you to vaccinate your horses right now for the potentiality of the deadly West Nile virus. So please remember Rupert Animal Clinic at 200 South Highway 24 in Rupert. And a good friend of us and this program, that's Senator Kelly Anthon. He'd like to invite everybody to the square during the 4th of July celebration in Rupert. That square is something else. All kinds of activity going on, a lot of people, food, entertainment, everything. And don't forget, the 4th is going to have fireworks and horse races and lawnmower races, all of this and more over at the Rupert 4th of July celebration. And last but not least, Haruza Insurance at 723 South 3rd Street in Rupert. Nice people that really know the insurance business and can quote your commercial, business, auto, home, life, and health insurance right now today. And you need to protect what matters most to you with Haruza Insurance. Don't forget, they're there to serve you at 723 3 South 3rd Street in Rupert. Number to call, 436-4420, Haruza Insurance. And those are just some of the businesses that invite you over to the Rupert 4th of July festivities. They know how to have fun over there. By the way, there's another event this weekend I've got to highlight. And that's, of course, the Oregon Trail Muzzleloaders are going to have their 36th annual rendezvous up at Albion this weekend, June 23, 24, and 25. And, boy, I tell you what, Dan and I had a ball the year we went up and enjoyed their rendezvous. Oh, my goodness sakes, it was a lot of fun. And they go back to the 1840s or the period of the mountain men with all their dress and everything. It's really something. And the muzzleloaders, wow, be a part of it. Have fun. Go on up there. And it's going to start with a potluck dinner on Friday night at 6:30 and go all the way through Sunday. And believe me, you'll enjoy yourself. Oregon Trail Muzzleloaders, 36th annual rendezvous up in Albion. This weekend, the traders and public are welcome to attend. As we said, we are hoping, and Wheels and I are kind of playing Russian roulette here, hoping that we can get through to Melissa Francis at the 10:30 hour. With her busy schedule at Fox News, especially during the noon hour, we're hoping that we can get her on for about a 10 or a 15-minute interview for her book, Lessons from the Prairie. And that's what we're going to talk about right after the break here at the bottom of the hour. So stay tuned, and we'll have more on Zeb at the Ranch in just a few minutes. Don't go away.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Oh, welcome back. And before I forget this morning, there is a very important birthday boy out in the audience, and I want to say happy birthday to my oldest grandson, Dawson. God bless you, young man. And he's celebrating his 15th birthday today, so congratulations. Right now, a lady that is next on our program is the author of a brand new book, Lessons from the Prairie, and I feel like I should know this lady because every day I watch her on television on the Fox News channel, and used to watch her, quite frankly, all the time on Little House on the Prairie. Good morning, Melissa Francis. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me on today. I'm so excited to be with you.
Well, that's very nice of you, and quite frankly, I would say the same right back at you. How in the world did you go from a child actor to being one of the most respected newscasters on the big Fox News channel today?
You are so sweet to say it like that, and I have it all in my new book, Lessons from the Prairie. It was not a straightforward or easy journey, but there were a lot of things that I learned along the way that I definitely wanted to pass on really to my children in this book. I mean, it's a survival guide and a handbook that is directed to them, but also the other big audience, radio listeners. I mean, you folks out there, you are the thoughtful ones. You are the intellectual ones. You are the ones that are driving around, sitting by your radio, thinking about the big issues, trying to figure out how to make your life better, how to make your family's life better, and that's what this book is all about. I learned so many lessons about perseverance. Oh, my goodness. And I'm afraid that in this day and age, with all of our snowflake generation and snowflake kids, that they aren't learning these tough lessons. I mean, I was fired, and I go through that in the book. So many people had the same experience of being fired and really being brought low. And you have to develop a game plan and a formula to build yourself back. And I always say, build yourself back to a better place than you were knocked down from. Through my own experience, I've put together a formula that I call my formula for turning disaster into golden opportunity. And it really works only because I've lived it and I learned it the hard way, how to get there. And it starts with setting a higher goal than what you lost. And, making your plan and following it step by step and figuring out once you get there what you did wrong in the first place. I go through it in detail, and I promise it works, but it hasn't been a straightforward path for me. I've been blessed by God for sure, and I'm so grateful and thankful for everything that I have in my life. But we all need resilience, right? I mean, I'm sure you've had really tough experiences as well, haven't we all?
Absolutely. And the main thing that I was blessed with was a mom and a dad that would never let me quit. The 3-letter word that they kept pushing at me all my life was try, and if that doesn't work, try harder.
I love that. I love that. It's absolutely true. I mean, there's you give yourself a beat to mourn about whatever has happened, but then you have to just press on. And I learned a lot of that resilience from Michael Landon himself. You know, I grew up in Hollywood. I did my first TV commercial when I was 6 months old. I don't even remember it. I mean, this is what I was told. It was a Johnson & Johnson baby shampoo commercial. After that, I did hundreds of commercials. I did movies, TV shows, but that set on Little House is really different. And it started with Michael Landon. And the lessons that I learned from him, I mean, he was one of the first real small business owner, industrious guys in Hollywood. He realized to make a mint, he had to be the boss. He needed to own the production, write it, produce it, direct it, star in it. He was cheap as hell. I mean, he was really tight with a buck. He stretched it. Rather than being a diva and, you know, throwing money around, he was quite the opposite, and he taught us to be thrifty as well, which ties right into the characters on the show. And there were so many lessons about resilience, but about hard work, and this idea that we had an opportunity. We were brought together to do this show that people loved, but it was a privilege, and that rather than being a diva, you needed to show up, work hard, learn your lines, hit your mark, and in the end, we had something we all felt proud of, and we had that feeling of power when someone outside the house, outside your family, pays you for a job well done. You know you can do for yourself. That's empowering, and I learned that at a really young age, and years later, I was having dinner with Melissa Gilbert, and she was saying that it's so interesting about Little House. None of those kids ended up in rehab or ended up robbing a dry cleaner or whatever else. You know, and we said, why was that? It was because of the lessons that he taught us about that pride, that work ethic, that empowerment. We really took that with us through life. I mean, and even now I carry that to the Fox News Channel where, you know, I talk about the same kind of things, and in the book I give you some behind the scenes here at Fox as well. But I talk about how, you know, I think that in America we have to empower people to do for themselves. And when you get hooked on handouts, you're actually robbing people of the pride and the power of doing for yourself.
Melissa, we have a caller with a question. I'm going to ask the caller to keep it brief. Go ahead. You're on the air. Please, go ahead.
Yes, you know, what concerns me is I have a lot of children, lots of grandchildren, and I feel that the educational system is so skewed to the left, whether or not it's sexualism, environmentalism, socialism, and you send your children there, and so many parents are not monitoring what their children are being taught, and I don't know that you can save them after they've been through this. And, you know, if your parenting is weak, and it seems as in this day and age, there seems to be plenty of weak parenting and lots of influence, indoctrination coming from the classroom, whether or not it's school, grade school, high school, or the college. I'll hang up.
Melissa, what about that?
I agree with you 100%. Every single thing you said, get my book. It's all in there because I agree with you. My kids I have 3 kids. 2, 7, and 10, and I see it in the school. And what I talk about is this idea that when you take school and you take out the idea of God, you need a reason why you tell your kids that they can't litter when no one's looking and they shouldn't take money when no one's looking, and you know why you need to be good to your neighbor. You need a context within which, a framework to teach them to do the right thing. And without God, liberals on the left have started worshiping things like the environment. You know, I mean, I send my kid to school and they come home and it's like a cult religion of recycling and don't turn the water on and don't use the light and gasoline is bad. And, you know, this whole thing, they brainwash them. And all I can say to you is that you can't shield your kids from everything that's out there. All you can do is give them the basis at home. And you're right, there's so much weak parenting. And for those children, I do feel sad because they're going to have to figure out what's right and what's wrong on their own. But it starts at home with the parent, and I tell my kids, I talk to them about independent thinking. Don't just accept what you're told. Yes, a lot of times on a test, you have to write the answer the teacher wants, but you think independently. You question what you're being told. Is it true? Are there facts to back it up? Or is that somebody's opinion that they're trying to get me to think a certain way about things? You have to learn how to think critically and analytically at a very young age, and it starts at home with the parents. When they come home and they say things to me, and I said, well, let's think about that. Let's talk about that. Do you really think that's what we should be doing? Do you really think, when we redistribute income to everyone, gosh, it sounds like a good idea because you want everybody to have enough. But at the same time, if you have no incentive to work, where is all this money coming from in the first place? There's not a money tree in the backyard. It's your tax dollars that you're sending to Washington. Do you think they do a better job of deciding which charities to give to and deciding who to help than we do? Do you think they are better at deciding rules for our house than we are? And you just get them thinking critically and analytically. I don't tell them what to think, because I don't want them to just accept what I say either. I want them to think critically and analytically for themselves and have good values underneath it. And I lead by example in my house. I mean, all parents, you feel that extra weight, where you would have blared your horn and sworn at the person who cut you off when the child's in the car. Hopefully, usually, you control yourself and you behave differently. Well, that's got to extend to your whole life and how you operate everywhere, because they are watching you and taking that example. I really appreciate that call. You are 100% right. See, your listeners are so smart. I know the top radio listeners, you are the smartest, most thoughtful people out there. I have learned that through news, through this book tour, through everything. You guys are the ones that really rock.
Melissa, let me ask you this. I think everything you said is exactly the way it should be, but we also have another problem in this country. You touched on it a moment ago, but that's a work ethic and how to implement and install a work ethic in our children growing up. I look at the millennials today, many of them, not all of them, as a lost generation because they really don't know personal responsibility to earn their own way. How are we going to change that?
The only way I can think of it is through parenting at home. I mean, I don't know what you do. I don't know how you impact, other than trying to lead and talk about it and doing what you do and talking about it on the radio. And, if you're in a workplace, you hold other people in your workplace accountable by expecting the most of them and calmly communicating with them when you feel like they're not pulling their weight, and through your own example. I mean, my children see myself and my husband work so hard, and they just see it, and they live it, and they know it. And I expect the same of them. And they will have, no matter how much money I earn or my husband earns, they will have those summer jobs and those after-school jobs at a young age. I learned so much. I had a number of minimum wage jobs. And even when we talk about how we need to raise the minimum wage in this country, the minimum wage is about those young kids, those first-time jobs where you wouldn't get hired otherwise because you don't have a track record. Someone's taking a chance on you by giving you a job at all. And it's your opportunity to get experience, to learn what it's like to have that responsibility, to punch a clock, where someone's depending on you to open the store, to wait on the tables, whatever it is. I mean, I chopped vegetables in the basement of my college dorm so that I could pay for, my summer internships in news because those were unpaid. You have to tough love your own kids in terms of making them earn stuff. And it's hard because I look at my kids and I want to just give them everything. I love them so much. I want to make their lives easy. But I know that what I would really be doing is making their lives hard later.
Let me ask you a couple of quick questions here in regards to Little House on the Prairie, the show. The main dynamic was, of course, a strong family led by a strong father and a loving mother. Did both the actors in that case, Michael Landon, I forget the name of the lady that played your mom, what were they like off camera as far as relating to you as a child actress?
They were so sweet to me. The whole show, by the time I joined, and I talk about this a lot in the book, Lessons from the Prairie, by the time I joined, the show was kind of on its last legs there. Ratings were lower, so they added back some little kid cuteness to try and breathe some new life into it, and we kept it going for a few more years. I mean, I had a blast. Michael Landon, he was like God and Santa Claus rolled into one. He was one of those truly magnetic, charismatic people who made every day so fun. I mean, he would do things like he would pick up a filthy bullfrog off floor of the Simi Valley Prairie and put it in his mouth, unbeknownst to us. And when he opened his mouth to talk to us, the frog would fly out at us and we would scream. And he kept us enchanted and delighted. But then when he turned on the camera, he got deadly serious and we got down to work. And I saw him, you know, in that boat that he was able to combine a playful personality with also someone who was so focused on work and so determined. You know, it was a really interesting training ground. And for years, you know, I remade myself as a news person. I studied economics at Harvard, and I really turned away from my past to try and prove that I was a different person. And so many years later, and this is why I wrote the book, I realized that so many of the valuable things, the way that I run my life today, I actually learned in that setting. I went back, I reread the books, they're magical. I mean, they're magical. They really hold up today. But it's these values that are getting lost in America about family, about resilience, about independence, but at the same time helping your neighbor. Those things can coexist. I mean, it doesn't mean just because you don't want the government to do everything doesn't mean you're heartless and you don't care about the people around you. It means we come together as a community by choice rather than the government forcing everyone, confiscating goods, redistributing them. I mean, all of those values were on that set. They were in the book. It made me who I am today. Please pick it up, Lessons from the Prairie. It'll make you laugh. I hope it will inspire you. I love to hear from people who have read it. You can hit me up on Twitter, Melissa A. Francis. Send me an email here at Fox News Channel. Let me know what you think of the book. I wrote every word. I poured my heart into it. I laughed and I cried in the audio version. If you enjoy that, please let me know.
You are excellent. I'm going to urge everybody to buy the book, which in this case, where can the book be obtained? At all major bookstores?
Everywhere. Amazon has it. You can get it on Amazon, Lessons from the Prairie. You can get it in Barnes & Noble in your bookstore. You can download the audio version, which I narrate myself. I cry. I laugh. You got to bear with me, but it's fun. You can get it anywhere, and I hope you will.
Well, you know, I've had many people from the Fox News Channel on my program, Catherine Herridge and many others, and you are excellent. I thank you, Melissa Francis, for coming on the program. I'll keep urging everybody to buy your book, and thank you for your time this morning.
I'd love to come back sometime. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you so much. A very nice lady. And the book is called Lessons from the Prairie, The Surprising Secrets to Happiness, Success, and Sometimes Just Survival that she learned on America's favorite TV show, Little House on the Prairie. Nice lady. Very nice. I enjoyed the interview, and like she said at the very end, she'd like to come back in the future. I'm going to read the book and invite her back. Thank you very much. And she's probably just running down the hall right now at Fox News to get ready for a noon broadcast. So thank you very much to Melissa Francis on Fox News. Right now, let's take a look at our weather forecast. My goodness, I'm running a little bit late here, and then we'll take some more calls. Give me a jingle on the landline. Our weather is brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Don Scarrow and the whole crew with the most delicious meats. All you have to do is give them a call, 324-7657, or go to their website, scarrowmeats.com. Oh, my goodness, all the breakfast sausages, the bratwurst, you name it, they've got it. And they've got a new product, too, more leaner and more economical type of bacon called buckboard bacon in various flavors. It is delicious. Be sure and remember Scarrows Meats. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Today is going to be much cooler than what it was yesterday. Yesterday we got pretty warm, but today and for the rest of the week going to be in a cooling trend. Looks like sunny skies for today, high of 87, a little bit on the breezy side, not too shabby. Tonight looks like mostly clear skies, low of 54. Tomorrow, sunny skies, high of 80, clear and 50 for Thursday night and Friday and Saturday. Looks like sunny skies, highs are going to be in the low 80s. That is your weather for Zebit the Ray.
Appreciate it, Gina. And once again, I want to remind you about Don Scarrow and all the great folks over at Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Number to call, 324-7657. Oh, yeah. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. All right, give me a call, please. I'd love to hear from you at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. One of the things I want to say this morning is I had somebody come up to me the other day, and they said, how do you get all these relatively big-name people in the celebrity world, if you will, to come on your program? Little old K-Bar in southern Idaho. Well, listen, let me tell you something. All you got to do is ask. All you got to do is ask. And I've been blessed that I'm not real shy about asking somebody to come on my program, and it's kind of snowballed. And some of the contacts that I've made in this industry and some of the people involved in the news industry, both in D.C. and also New York, over the years, they have been very helpful to me, and they've supplied me with some of the best people in the news on various subjects. And like Melissa Francis, I just absolutely called and found out if she wanted to come on the program and promote the book. And she said, yeah. So there you go. I mean, I really enjoy bringing those people onto my program to share with you. They've got families, they've got some of the urgencies and some of the problems that we all share, and I find most of them to be very nice, very sincere, and I'd put Melissa Francis in that category, a very, very nice lady. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Thursday tomorrow is Lunch Bunch Day. Now, I want to highlight that we're going to be over at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, at 611 North Overland in Burley at 11:30 tomorrow. Now, we're going to expect a great big turnout tomorrow, and we've got a lot of gift certificates to give away from Walmart and Smith's Foods, Hanson Mortuary, Stokes Grocery, Doug Martin with his redneck cup holders. Oh, my goodness. We have a good time. Come on down and be with us at America's Diner. The food is fantastic. The people are so nice at Denny's Restaurant tomorrow at 11:30. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, Zeb. How you doing this morning?
Good, thank you.
Oh, that's good. Hey, I just was kind of scanning through on Fox News Network the headlines on my phone, just kind of going through the headlines, stuff like that. And what would you ever think about Eric Holder running for president in 2020?
Eric Holder running for president in 2020, I think, would be devastating for the Democrats because there's a lot of uncovered information that is in the background, like the gun-running scheme to Arizona and many other things that are in his personal background, I think would come back to haunt him, and rightfully so, and he would not be a good candidate.
No, and, you know, he makes Barack Obama look like a Boy Scout.
I wouldn't go that far.
But when I saw that, I kind of thought, well, you know, a lot of times, like I say, I see things on Facebook or whatever on the phone, and look at a headline and sit there and think, wait a minute, I've got to go do a little research on this. There hasn't really been anything against it or anything like that, but it was just up on Fox News, and you would think, you know, it would be something that has been dilly-dallied and talked about and everything.
Well, let me...
the thought kind of scares me.
Let me just say this to you and that purported news story about Eric Holder. There are a lot of skeletons in his closet that are also tied to the closet of Barack and Michelle Obama. And I think the way I interpret the possible throwing the name of Eric Holder into the circle for the Democrats, they are frustrated. I think they're grabbing at straws in the wind right now because they don't have legitimate candidates that can really win in a national scale. And I think any name that they can throw out right now, they're just trying to see what sticks on the wall.
Well, you know, and also, too, if the economy really starts taking off, like it's been talking to go ahead and do it and everything like that, Republicans get behind their man, the president, what have you, get behind him, then really right now the Democrats have nothing. They have nothing to run on.
I agree. You know, I appreciate your call. I appreciate your listenership, and call me again. Right now I got to wrap up the show, but thank you very much.
Not a problem.
All right, sir.
Talk to you later.
Thank you. Our major sponsor And I'm so proud of these people because they do such a wonderful job, all 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Doing the right thing matters. Absolutely. They've got all your tires for your pickups and SUVs, all your car tires. They've got them in all the sizes, all the different tread designs for your particular kind of driving. Absolutely stop in and see them today. And the best in brake service. They really have highly trained technicians, front-end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, the best in batteries, I can attest to that. All you need to do is just drive right on in see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. Yep. Doing the right thing matters, and they are the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Tomorrow, Thursday, we've got all kinds of people coming on the program, and we also are going to cut the last segment a little bit short so we can get on the road and go down to Lunch Bunch tomorrow at 11:30 at Denny's Restaurant. Put that on your list of to-do tomorrow and be in attendance with us. And remember, we'll saddle the horse and ride for 3 hours tomorrow morning at 8:06 right here on Zeb at the Ranch, where we always say the way things were are the way things ought to be. God bless you and your family. We'll see you then.